Hamas says it has informed Qatari mediators that they're ready to release the hostages held in Gaza. It has agreed to free up to 70 women and children. They've asked for a 5-day truce in return for the hostage release. Hamas says the truce should include a complete ceasefire and aid and humanitarian relief should be allowed everywhere in Gaza. Israeli strikes hit Bani Suhaila, a town east of Khan Younis city in the Gaza Strip yesterday. At least 3 Palestinians have been killed and 20 others were injured in the strike. Children were among the injured and are being treated at a nearby hospital. The attack followed 3 other strikes in and around Khan Younis, which killed at least 15 people. The lack of fuel in Gaza could bring aid delivery and communications to a halt as soon as today. This is according to a United Nations official. He added that communications would be completely down by Thursday as the region's service provider is gradually shutting down. Aid delivery will also be affected. Gaza will not have enough fuel to even use forklifts to unload the aid being sent. The UN spokesperson said that the depleting fuel and medical supplies are leaving the lives of Gazans hanging by a thread. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with commanders and soldiers fighting in the ongoing war against Hamas. This was at one of the assembly points near the fence surrounding Gaza. Netanyahu thanked the soldiers for their service. He said, and I quote, "This is neither an operation nor a round, but a war to the end." The Israeli military has said that they found weapons stored by Hamas in the basement of a children's hospital in Gaza. The IDF released photos and videos showing an armory of weapons including grenades, suicide vests and other explosives. The video also showed what appeared to be living quarters including a small kitchen and a nearby tunnel shaft. The military added that they found signs suggesting that hostages had been held in the building. Hospital authorities in Gaza have denied that health facilities are being used by Hamas for their activities. US President Joe Biden said that the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza City must be protected. Biden added that he hopes there will be less intrusive action in Gazan hospitals. Meanwhile, the White House added that the US has spoken with Israel. It said that both countries agreed that firefights should not take place in hospitals. The US has pledged its unconditional support for Israel ever since the Israel-Hamas war began last month. Indonesia's President Joko Widodo met US President Joe Biden yesterday. Widodo called on the United States to do more to stop the atrocities in Gaza. He pushed for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. In other news, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak unexpectedly appointed former PM David Cameron as Foreign Secretary. Sunak's latest ministerial reshuffle came after he sacked Home Secretary Suella Braverman. Braverman's removal came amid a bitter row over the London police's response during pro-Palestinian marches in the capital. Braverman was replaced by James Cleverly, leaving the Foreign Secretary post open. That's when Sunak asked Cameron to take up the position. In Ukraine, a 2-month-old infant girl was rushed to a hospital after she was wounded in Russian shelling. Ukraine's Interior Ministry released a video of the aftermath. Kyiv says a Russian shell hit a civilian car in Ukraine's Kherson region. It killed a 64-year-old man driving the car. He was apparently the child's grandfather. The infant's mother was also badly wounded. South Korea and the United Nations Command, or UNC, member states are holding their first meeting. The meeting aims to urge North Korea to cease its unlawful activities and abide by the UN Security Council resolutions. The UNC is a group of countries including the United States, Britain and Australia. These are countries which sent troops or medical support to Seoul during the Korean War in the 1950s. India has called on Canada to crack down on extremism. New Delhi wants Ottawa to take firm action against hate speech and hate crimes by groups promoting extremism. Indian diplomats sent a list of suggestions to Canada during a UN Human Rights Council review meeting. New Delhi wants Ottawa to prevent the misuse of the right to free speech. It says free speech in Canada is often used as a cover to incite violence and attacks on places of worship. There have been a spate of attacks on Hindu temples in Canada by pro-Khalistan separatist groups in recent years. Myanmar's military junta has imposed a curfew in the city of Sittwe. This comes amid a surge in fighting on several fronts between Myanmar's military and armed ethnic groups. Residents of Sittwe in the western state of Rakhine have been ordered not to leave their homes after 9 p.m. Businesses have been asked to shut down by 8:30 p.m. Mexico's first openly non-binary magistrate, Ociel Baena, was found dead at home in central Mexico. Baena was celebrated across Latin America for advancing the rights of the LGBTQ+ community. Mexico's security minister has said that authorities are investigating the magistrate's death. LGBTQ+ activists held a vigil in Mexico City last night. This was both in Baena's honor and to demand justice. In climate news, the air quality in India's capital New Delhi has turned severe again. Various regions of Delhi city recorded an air quality index of over 400. New Delhi officials have doubled vehicle parking fees in some parts of the city. This is to encourage the use of public transport. The western Irish city of Galway was flooded on Monday. This was due to Storm Debbie, which has come in from the Atlantic. Videos on social media captured submerged vehicles and relentless winds. In the neighbouring UK, the Met Office has issued alerts for strong winds in the northwestern county of Lancashire. Floods triggered torrential rainfall and have claimed 31 lives in Somalia. According to the Somali government, over 500,000 people have been displaced since October. The country has reported extensive damage in the southern Gedo region. The UN has given $25 million in aid for the rehabilitation of people affected by the floods. A group of scientists from New York's Cornell University have been studying the ecological impacts of floating solar panels. They have set up 400 solar panels to float across 3 ponds. The Cornell researchers will study the impact of the floating panels on the aquatic environment. Floating solar panels are being seen as an economical way to generate energy without impacting farmland. Unpredictable weather patterns have now put a centuries-old Japanese fishing practice under threat. The practice is called ukai. The traditional fishermen use trained birds to catch fish. The fisher community confirms that their catch has declined in recent years. Climate change has led to more frequent floods in the fishing grounds, putting this ancient tradition at risk. Kenya's President William Ruto has urged swift action on the world's first plastic pollution treaty. He said this during UN-backed talks taking place in Nairobi. According to the UN, of over 400 million metric tons of plastic waste produced annually, less than 10% is recycled. French President Emmanuel Macron has pledged $1 billion to support research on melting polar ice caps. Macron announced this at an ongoing climate summit in Paris. The rapidly melting ice caps at the North and South Poles are causing concern around the globe. France has called for prohibiting activities that exploit the seabed in polar regions. 19 countries have signed the moratorium so far. Now on to business and tech news. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has pushed back on the decision by rating agency Moody's to cut its outlook on U.S. debt. She defended the U.S. economy, saying it is strong and the Treasury market is both safe and liquid. Last week, Moody's lowered its outlook on the U.S. credit rating to negative from stable. It cited the country's large fiscal deficits and a decline in its debt affordability. Analysts have raised their estimate for Argentina's 2023 annual inflation to reach 185%. This comes as the South American nation faces its worst crisis in decades, with 2/5 of its people in poverty. residents in Argentina are tightening their purses amid the sky-high inflation. Many people are even turning to second-hand clothing markets. This is to find affordable bargains and raise extra cash from selling old garments. U.S. airlines are predicting a record Thanksgiving holiday travel season. Airlines for America have forecast 29.9 million people will fly over the period. That would be an all-time high and a 9% increase from last year. Airlines for America is a group that represents United, Delta and other U.S. carriers. America's Workers United Union has said that thousands of Starbucks employees at several stores will walk out in protest this Thursday. That is on the coffee chain's key Red Cup Day promotional event. Starbucks hands out free reusable holiday-themed cups with coffee purchases on the popular promotional event. The employees say it's one of the hardest and understaffed days for baristas. E-cigarette maker Juul Labs has said it raised about $1.3 billion in funding. This is months after the company revealed plans to lay off about 250 people in a bid to reduce its operating costs. Juul has been seeking financial alternatives and has cut jobs twice since last year. This comes as it deals with several lawsuits related to the marketing of its e-cigarettes. US electric car maker Tesla is planning to double the number of components it imports from India. This is according to the Indian Trade Minister Piyush Goyal. Goyal announced this after visiting Tesla's manufacturing facility in the US state of California today. However, he was unable to meet Elon Musk during this visit and was scheduled earlier. German car part manufacturer Continental will cut thousands of jobs worldwide. The layoffs will affect positions in its automotive division. Continental added that this will help it save more than $400 million in costs every year from 2025. Meanwhile, Amazon has announced another round of layoffs. This is the second in less than a week. Nearly 200 positions will be eliminated from Amazon's games division in the latest round of job cuts. The company began informing employees about the redundancies yesterday. Last week, Amazon reportedly cut positions from its streaming, music, and podcast division. Staying a bit longer with Amazon, the e-commerce giant has reportedly struck a deal with social media company Snap. Under this, users will be able to buy products from Amazon directly through ads on the Snapchat app. It'll also show users real-time pricing, Prime eligibility, and delivery estimates. All of it without leaving the Snapchat app. However, the feature is currently only being rolled out in the US. Google parent Alphabet has dissolved its stakes in trading app operator Robinhood. Earlier in August, Alphabet had slashed its stake in the company by nearly 90%. Alphabet had reportedly invested in Robinhood when the latter was an unlisted startup. Back then, Robinhood attracted retail traders with its commission-free trades and easy-to-use interface. Now onto the world of sports, where 1.3 billion Indians have just one question on their minds: is it coming home? Rohit Sharma is just 2 wins away from emulating legendary Mahendra Singh Dhoni, who masterminded India's second ICC World Cup title triumph at the Wankhede in 2011. India have played fine cricket throughout the tournament and have remained unbeaten in all 9 games so far. For the semi-final, the men in blue face the Kiwis at Wankhede Stadium. While Rohit Sharma and co cruised comfortably in all matches so far, the semi-final match against New Zealand is the biggest test of the tournament. India have lost their last 4 knockout matches against New Zealand across formats, and the Kiwis have been knocked out by the hosts in the last 3 ODI World Cups. Now, one of these streaks will be broken at the Wankhede on Wednesday. While Mumbai's Wankhede will host the first semi-final thriller, Kolkata's Eden Garden will witness the second between Australia and South Africa. While the Aussies are in good form, South Africa will be looking to give Quinton de Kock a fitting farewell. Australia has had the upper hand in previous semi-final encounters between the two teams. On to tennis now. Alexander Zverev got off to a winning start in his ATP Finals campaign by battling back from a set down to beat Carlos Alcaraz. Zverev, the two-time winner at the year-ending tournament, put on a powerful display to see off world number 2 Alcaraz. Wimbledon champion Alcaraz has not been on top form after returning from injury at the end of last month. Daniil Medvedev overpowered Andrei Rublev in an all-Russian affair at the ATP Finals in Turin. After saving 7 breakpoints in the opening set, Medvedev steamrolled Rublev in the second to move 1-0 in the red group with a 6-4, 6-2 win. The straight sets victory in his tournament opener sees world number 3 Medvedev extend his lead for most tour-level and hard-court wins this season. In football news, Cristiano Ronaldo led Portugal train as the team started their preparation to face Liechtenstein in the round 9 of the Euro 2024 qualifier. Roberto Martinez's team remain undefeated in Group J with 8 consecutive wins and 24 points in the standings. Uruguay's record goalscorer Luis Suarez received his first call-up under new coach Marcelo Bielsa, who named the 36-year-old in his squad to face Argentina this week in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier. Suarez, with 68 international goals to his name, has been in superb form for the Brazilian club Grêmio, with 16 goals in 29 games. But he has not featured for Uruguay since Bielsa took over in May. Thousands of fans gathered in the streets around Old Trafford to pay tribute to former Manchester United great Sir Bobby Charlton. Sir Charlton died in October at the age of 86. The funeral procession wound its way past United Stadium en route to Manchester Cathedral, where the former Red Devils and England star was laid to rest. Top updates from the NBA now. Jason Tatum scored 35 points and Jaylen Brown added 21, leading the Boston Celtics to a 114-98 victory over the New York Knicks. Tatum scored 17 in the fourth quarter when Boston turned a 91-88 edge into a 17-point lead. Jalen Brunson scored 26 points and Julius Randle scored 25 and 9 rebounds for the Knicks. The Toronto Raptors pulled off a remarkable comeback, snatching victory over the Washington Wizards. The Raptors overturned a 23-point second-half deficit to win 111-107. The Wizards looked to be cruising to victory after a 64-45 halftime lead, but the Raptors flipped the script after halftime, outscoring the Wizards to take the win. Now for entertainment news, the Beatles have triumphantly re-entered the Billboard Hot 100 at number 7 with their song Now and Then. It marks their 35th top 10 and a remarkable return after a hiatus since 1996. Now and Then is the iconic band's last song and features the voice of the late John Lennon. The two living Beatles, Sir Paul McCartney and Sir Ringo Starr, finished the song's production after decades. They finished it using a recording from the 1970s and with the help of some artificial intelligence. Singer Taylor Swift's name has been added to the list of singers who have been harassed by fans while on stage. A fan reportedly threw an object at her when she was performing in Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires. Swift responded to the incident while on stage. She said that it freaks her out when stuff gets thrown like that. Rapper and singer Drake has announced the dates of his upcoming 2024 tour. The tour has been titled It's All a Blur, Big as the What. Drake has recruited rapper and record producer J. Cole for the tour as well. Drake's crew will kick off the tour in January next year. Growing apprehension surrounds the future of the South Korean sensation Blackpink under YG Entertainment. In the latest development, the departure of the singer Lisa's manager Alice Kang from YG Entertainment has been confirmed. Her updated LinkedIn profile reflects the end of her tenure in October. Reports suggest that Blackpink members are expected to eventually part ways and embark on new chapters in their careers. Sony Pictures released the trailer for their upcoming film, The Garfield Movie. The film features Guardians of the Galaxy actor Chris Pratt as the voice of the iconic orange cat. The cat Garfield will go to on an outdoor heist after uniting with his long-lost father. For the unversed, Garfield the cat loves eating lasagna and prefers to stay indoors. The film is slated to release in May next year. Warner Bros. Discovery has reconsidered its decision to discontinue Coyote vs. Acme. The film will now be presented to potential buyers. The decision comes after Warner Bros. Had announced that they would shelve the film last Thursday. The Crown's creator, Peter Morgan, revealed that Princess Diana's death never interested them. During the premiere of its upcoming season, Morgan said that the story was never going to be about how she died. Instead, the story will be how Diana's death impacted the royal family. The final season of The Crown is slated to start streaming on Netflix from November 16th. The role of Superman might be a dream for many actors, but Jacob Elordi feels otherwise. During an interview, the Euphoria actor revealed declining to audition for the iconic role. The actor feels Superman is too much and too dark for him to do. Elordi said that he likes to make what he likes to watch, and these films make him restless. Actor Anne Hathaway addresses the stereotypes that women in Hollywood go through. The actor recalls being told that her career will decline after she turns 35 years old. In an interview, the Hollywood superstar reflects on how narratives have changed. She admitted that most women in the industry experience this. Hathaway said that she's still working towards achieving her goals and dreams. After directing the hit Barbie, director Greta Gerwig doesn't want to stop. In an interview, Gerwig said that after Barbie's success, she feels scared to be sitting idle. She said that the terror of not making anything is greater than making something bad. The Lady Bird director expressed her wish to keep directing till she hits her 70s.
It's the dream of every cricketer, the ultimate glory. Few manage to keep their date with destiny.